Happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday. We made it. Another week of remote learning with Mr. Ruben. It's over. All right, but we have been working day by day, catching up with what our final project will be, the Cold War project. I have written feedback on each and every one of your work that you submitted. I like what I'm seeing so far. Now it's time to, you have the skeleton, add some meat. Okay? So, Friday, April 3rd. Hopefully, you enjoyed your Thursday and the rest of the week that just passed. If you still have any questions, remember, reach out to me whenever you can. I'm available at all times. For today, you have one task on our agenda, which is to write your script or your outline. This is what you will be reading off of if you're doing the podcast, or if you're doing your TikTok, or if you're just doing the written assessment portion of it, okay? And as always, being that it's a Friday and we're all probably tired, we're all worn out, but we're ready for the weekend. Here's a little suggestion of a song that I always listen to. You guys seen me dance it. I know the whole choreography. I won't do it here. But let's look at what you're expected to do. So, using the research that you used in day 1, day 2, and day 3, you're going to outline for your report in the form of a script. Remember, a script has all the information that you need. Now, in this script, you have to include a brief historical context that led to your country, the one you chose. What led to their involvement in the Cold War? Okay, depends on what you're choosing, what event you're choosing. Many of you are choosing the Dominican Republic, and you're choosing Trujillo's dictatorship. They weren't specifically fighting with the Soviet Union, the U.S., but they were involved in the Cold War because they have their own thing going on. And there's some meddling in there between the U.S. Okay, so what led them to become such a focus? Okay, brief historical context in the sense that some background information doesn't have to be anything too much in depth. It's up to you to go into it however you want. The second thing you need to include is details surrounding the specific event. So on day 2, you chose an event you wanted to talk about. So if you were talking about Cuba, you were talking about you chose the Cuban Missile Crisis. Okay, if you were doing the DR, you're doing some of you chose Trujillo, okay, and his leadership. That's an event. This is what the bulk of your project is about. This is you using your research in your own words and telling it orally through the form of videos and the podcast or written assessment of written product. And your analysis. Provide advice you would give to the governments of the US and the Soviet Union to resolve the conflict. We've seen in history these things happen more than once. There's tension, there's conflict, there's a whole bunch of enduring issues reoccurring. What can countries do, or governments, to resolve conflict? Okay. So some suggestions for this script is consider interviewing a witness, or even writing your script in another language. Okay. That'd be cool, right? There are some of you that are considering interviewing some family members. I think that's pretty cool. That's dope. And if you need help with how to conduct an interview, here's an example of what I used, which is an actual thing I used from for the TikTok video. I use this script, all right? And you can do it that way. Include 3 things: context, the details surrounding your specific event, why it's important, and your analysis, advice you would give to countries such as the US and the Soviet Union to resolve the conflict if they're meddling in it. Okay, and if they're not, what would you suggest to these governments to solve the conflict? And once you're done, as always, submit. Please submit. Please submit. Submit. All right, this is going to be due Monday at 9 a.m. Okay, so you have the rest of the weekend to do this assignment. And please listen to this link. Please listen to it. It's fire. Hit me up if you need some help. I'm always available. Google Classroom, Zoom, Remind, pretty much everything else. All right. Good luck.